About it, Joe, is that we do see them actually attacking the Tea Party, using the IRS at the moment, but that's not to say that they won't use law enforcement in the future.
Roger that. That's very true. And also, Representative Shea, he said he actually has footage. He sat in on the SPLC training with the Sheriff's Department here, and he has footage of the sheriff saying, I have a pen. With a stroke of my pen, I can take your rights away and or your life. So we're going to get that footage. We're going to try to get that out to you guys as soon as possible. So InfoWars, the viewers, everybody can see that.
Well, speaking of footage, we had a fellow call us, I think it's Andrew in Washington. He said he had taken some pictures of a lot of different types of MRAPs, and he wanted to try to get a hold of you and give you a thumb
yeah, that's why I was breaking down the exact interview. We're on top of a parking garage beside the Liberty Building, Auntie's Bookstore, right in the middle of downtown. This is the view we have, so if he wants to swing out and bring us that information, that'd be very grateful.
Okay, great. That's good. And tell us again now where these protests are. There's going to be a protest at noon tomorrow that's going to be about this law that just got passed. It actually was something that was in the legislature, and then they put it up for a referendum. It passed as a piece of, as part of a referendum in the state, and it criminalizes the transfer of weapons. Now, even this sheriff, who is not really apparently any friend to gun owners, was saying that it was unenforceable, but that's not the point. What it does is it allows them to charge people, as you point out, with a felony, basically, and after the fact, if they see that there's something else that they want to go after somebody with, it could be a very minor violation, and they could bump this up to a felony by putting this in after the fact. It's a real tripwire, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, how many people are going to be arrested for something nonviolent? You know, how many people go out and actually have guns because they want to go to the range and shoot? When you take that away, I mean, that's about as ridiculous as the bracelet, the bracelet that Eric Holder wants us to wear. This is mind-blowing, and everyone should be outraged at something like this. You know, you can't even hand over a weapon to somebody without giving them a background check and not have to worry about being arrested or tased or choked to death afterwards by a police officer. This is out of this world.
Yes. So now this is going to be a protest at noon tomorrow. And tell us again where that protest for that law is going to be.
That's going to be downtown here. I'll get that information out. We'll try to put that up in a blurb later on. I don't have the exact location right now, but when I have that, David, I'll make sure I give that to one of the riders, and we'll have all the information for tomorrow's protest put up on the site so we can get that out to everybody. Okay. And I'll also make a video on YouTube so people can go to the Alex Jones YouTube channel as well. We'll tweet it out. We'll have all that information out for you guys this afternoon. Okay,
so people need to check Infowars.com, and they need to check the Alex Jones channel on YouTube. And then following that protest at noon about that law, there is going to be a protest at the Sheriff's Department at 2 p.m. And, of course, we've had this hashtag Ask a Cop that has blown up on the internet because of people's outrage over the excessive use of force. I think that it's time that we have a dialogue with the police. I think that'll be an important thing, an important aspect of that. Hopefully there'll be somebody there from the police department to talk. Have you had any success talking to the PIO there?
Well, Scott McClay, the president of the Rattlesnake Motorcycle Clubs, he said that he's spoken to the police department, the sheriff's department, I should say, in Spokane Valley, and they're allowing us to be in the actual parking lot of the sheriff's department. So we're hoping we can get a police officer to come out. Maybe if you start a dialogue, let some of the citizens in this country ask some questions. You know, why is this happening? You know, I really like the Ask a Cop question that Jakari Jackson put out. Why are the cops in Ferguson lying about using CS gas on citizens? So those are more questions we got to ask, and hopefully they're going to come out and we can get a dialogue started. And hopefully the sheriff will stop ducking and dodging us on his fantasy, fake vacation, whatever it is he's on, when he already came out and said that he'd be willing to debate Alex on the issues at hand. So now it looks like he's ducking and dodging, but we'll see if he can come out and he'll man up and show up and come out and, you know, let us talk to him.
And just to repeat the chronology there, we got that video that the lady shot there with the sheriff's deputy and the MRAP. The video did not go up on YouTube, and the article didn't go up until Saturday. Mikhail had reached out to them on a Friday night. They didn't respond the next day. They didn't respond on Sunday. On Monday, they put up his long video on Facebook, but they never, and which we included in our article to try to be fair, to give his point of view there. He said repeatedly that he'd like to come on the Alex Jones show and talk, and we reached out to him, but we keep being told from the PIO there that he's not going to be back until next year. Stay with us. We're going to be right back. Wrap this up with Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs, retired, and now in Washington State. Stay with us.
We've had an amazing year here at Supernatural Silver. We've truly enjoyed the fantastic response from thousands of people as they've tried our extraordinary product, and we're thrilled at the life-changing results people have. Our company email is continually full of happy, satisfied customers who thank us for the help they've received from Supernatural Silver. This holiday season, as you think of gifts to give your loved ones, consider giving Supernatural Silver, a gift that can help provide good health and wellness, a gift that can change lives and make a real difference. In a world where we are constantly exposed to dangerous health threats, give yourself and your loved ones a fighting chance. Give Supernatural Silver. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and use the promo code HOLIDAY2014 for 30% off. And this holiday season, we wish you and yours the blessings of peace and good health from all of us here at supernaturalsilver.com. We all have our own idea about what being safe and secure means. The door's locked, bills are paid, you've got a job that keeps the lights on, and a home to call your own. But what happens when Mother Nature throws a curveball?
I'm telling you, take cover.
Are you prepared to live without electricity or passable roads for weeks at a time? Do you even have a plan B? If you do, are you willing to bet your life on it?
Children left with no homes.
And no one's coming to help them.
The first step towards self-reliance in the face of disaster is a visit to MyPatriotSupply.com. There you'll find the absolute best prices on storable foods, non-GMO seeds, emergency water filtration devices, and so much more. All orders over $49 qualify for free shipping in the lower 48 states. Call 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927 and speak to one of our preparedness advisors today, or visit us at MyPatriotSupply.com. Remember, before it's time to survive, it's time to prepare.
The experts are clear. Sunlight, purified water, healthy non-GMO food, and having a good attitude is essential to a healthy immune system. But I go further with Super Nascent Iodine X2 from InfoWarsLife.com. 50% stronger than our original and revolutionary Nascent Iodine formula, coming from a deep earth crystal source that no other supplier has. Most other forms of iodine come from seaweed in areas plagued by Fukushima and other contaminants. Not our iodine. It comes from over 200 million year old crystal salt deposits and is tested and proven to be completely pure. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today. See the informational videos, read the information they're compiled, and for a limited time, when you use promo code NOW at checkout, you get an additional 5% off the entire family of InfoWarsLife.com products. Secure your Survival Shield X2 today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
If you have candida overgrowth, just taking antifungal agents or starving yourself of sweets does not address the cause. Candida overgrowth is the result of a toxic, damaged, acidic, low oxygen, and inflamed tissue environment. The goal should be to remove the toxins, heal damaged tissues, restore healthy pH, eliminate inflammation, and feed beneficial bacteria. Previous usage of antibiotics or steroids or exposure to mercury or other toxins can damage many cells in the GI tract and body that make you prone to candida overgrowth. Removing toxins and healing tissues should be the goal. One World Whey is a whey protein food that supports detoxification, repair of tissues, and elimination of inflammation, healthy pH, and growth of beneficial bacteria. One World Whey is duly reformulated to be higher in protein and lower in carbohydrate. We believe One World Whey is an excellent food to support your efforts to create a healthy internal body environment. Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworld.com.
We will not be forgotten. We won't be left behind. Our memories live on in mortal mind.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, your host on this Friday, December 19th, 2014. We're joined from Spokane, Washington by Joe Biggs. There along with Darren McBreen and our cameraman, reporting on the situation there that there's a protest, massive protest tomorrow about the new law prohibiting the transfer of firearms that was just run through with the referenda on this last election, as well as the sheriff, who's made a lot of very troubling comments. The most recent one was saying that they needed an MRAP to use against constitutionalists. Joe, the MRAP is something, and you and I have talked about this. This is something that was rushed into production by the military in a very, very short time frame. Didn't go through the normal design reviews and competitive bidding as normal. They rushed that to theater. They have had a lot of problems, a lot of very expensive maintenance. They've offered these things to our allies if they'll just come and take them. Nobody showed up to take up the offer. And so now what they're doing is they're giving these away as a lease program, these different police departments, putting the maintenance charges on those police departments. And although there's been some localities where they have gotten the police or the sheriff to they've told them they need to send back the MRAP. They're not able to send that back unless they get the permission of the Department of Defense. And now we've got Congress buying some Abrams tanks we see in this article today that the Army doesn't even want. Just like they can't get, they want to get rid of these MRAPs, these white elephants, and put them locally. Now they're getting other equipment that they don't want, of course, foisted upon them by government. This is something we've seen happening over and over again throughout the decades by the military-industrial complex lobbyists pushing Congress to do this.
Well, David, what happens when you give a child a costume? Say a child, you give him a Spider-Man costume. He takes that role on. What happens when you give police military equipment, military gear? What are they going to do? Act like they're in the Army. And now, like you said, there's $120 million for tanks that the Army says that they don't want. But Congress says, or the defense spending bill includes $120 million for that. So what's going to happen? Where are these tanks going to go if the Army says, hey, we don't want them? We already have enough in our fleet. What are they going to do? They're already giving the MRAPs to local police forces. What's going to happen now? Abrams tanks on the roads in rural America? You know, this is something that we have to think about. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but think about it, though. Where are they going to put them?
This is rapidly escalating. There was a story that we talked to Paul Watson about yesterday. It was up on Infowars.com where the largest police agency in the United States, the California Highway Patrol, is self-identifying themselves now as a paramilitary organization, saying, is this job for you? People who want to work for the California Highway Patrol at their website. They're saying, we're a paramilitary organization. We operate under a structured chain of command. They talk about how they want people who have military experience to work for the California Highway Patrol. They are rapidly militarizing, and they're not even making any bones about it. They're admitting it now.
Yeah, I mean, what happened to it being a peace force? These are supposed to be people to help enforce the law. Now they're an attack force. They are an organized, well, not really organized, but they are turning into a military. This is something that's got to stop. And the shoot first, ask questions later mentality, there's too many innocent Americans that are dying because these guys are being taught the wrong things. And the SPLC coming into Spokane isn't going to help the situation out whatsoever.
We've seen them go from identifying themselves as peace officers to identifying themselves as a paramilitary organization. Everyone should be very concerned about this. It's been a very slow, gradual process, but it's accelerating quite rapidly now.
I mean, it's 10 times worse than Orwell could have ever predicted. I mean, you can't go through a city right now without some camera on a corner, multiple cameras, Stingray systems everywhere. I mean, the Army's putting up a huge blimp to watch the East Coast, but that's only in defense of, missiles coming in. They're saying that it's not going to be used to spy on people or watch movements of people or cars or listen on cell phone conversations, because we know, David, they never do things like that.
Well, maybe it's to watch out for these North Korean terrorists, because we now have this, it's now official, even though, and this is interesting, Joe, they put out a statement from the U.S. government saying the FBI now has enough information to conclude the North Korean government is responsible for this hacking of Sony. And they say this was not attributed to any official by name. Nobody wanted to show up and say this. Nobody wanted to sign their name to this because it's so patently absurd. It's such an obvious lie. And yet that's the way they're scaring everybody into this massive police and surveillance state. This really, what they're telling people about this Sony hacking, is just as absurd as the narrative that's being fed to the police for a long time by the Southern Poverty Law Center, and yet they don't have the ability to see through it.
The FBI couldn't locate a stolen cheeseburger. I mean, these guys don't know what they're doing. This whole thing is out of control, and America's got to wake up to what's going on. We've got to talk to each other. We've got to share this information, and we've got to stand up and say enough is enough. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
Absolutely. Joe Biggs in Spokane, Washington, along with Darren McBreen, and they're going to be covering the demonstrations tomorrow, one at noon and another one at 2 p.m. Check Infowars.com and the Alex Jones channel on YouTube for details of where that will be if you're in the area. And, of course, a lot of people are in the area, even going into Idaho. There's another large city there. We'll be right back with your call.